What's up, brothers and sisters? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Dude, holy crap, market is still red hot, led by quantum stocks today. Let's take a look and spend a few minutes digging into the market indexes, and then from there, let's go into the watch list. It was dead in large cap land. You know, Tesla and some of these stocks had a rest day, but we had a huge run in quantum stocks and other specky names, the aviation stocks, drones stocks, things of that nature. So rest day in the market, that was to be expected. We had 3 huge days, and so having a little bit of what we'd call an inside day is frankly to be expected. You had the IWM up 1% today. It's starting to round up a little bit. And then we had the SPY 2 that also just kind of finished flat on the day. But really, the big story I thought of today was that there was just spec money flying around everywhere. It was like COVID times, led by the quantum stocks. I mean, you saw ARQQ just huge. And guys, these are going to make epic shorts soon. But it looks like, you know, the dips are still getting bought in them. So you can't just lean in and start thinking short on this. Not for till they really blow out. You know, it looked like maybe over here was the blowout day, but they really all just came back one day, and that was it. You know, RGTI up 36%. You know, today, look, this company diluted at $2 just recently. It's a huge turd, but it doesn't matter. The dips are getting bought in it. Like, they're just opening weak and then going off to the races. You can't fight that, right? You know, you have something like Sound. Like, these still have probably... You know, they're still, like you can see here, like you just grind it down into the 9 EMA. You had a little bit of a dip off at the open, and then boom, it was off to the races. I mean, QBTS also, right, about to break highs. And, dude, QMCO, I mean, look at this thing, right? Like the range on this from 44 to 72. You can't fight that, right? You can't fight that. The trends are still higher, and they're still hugging their 9 EMAs. And so as long as that's happening, there's really nothing to do but partake in the fun. You know, that's how I always think about it. You know, erase what you think, just partake in the fun and the trends till they blow out. You know, you want to at least kind of 2 or 3 thumbs from the distance between price and 9 EMA on these. And they need to be a 4 days, monster days in a row before we start thinking about it again. You know, otherwise, look, every little dip is being bought intraday, and the action on them was, you know, crazy. Even with such a rest day in the market, the IWM was only up about 1%, but these were getting bought up. And so the trends are there. We want to kind of keep trading them. It's just a realm of turds flying today. You know, the watch list for tomorrow, I think we add all these for a little Friday fun. You know, any kind of weak opens on RUM or even something like a serve that really is starting to base out here and, you know, really been basing out here is at a key spot. You know, this starts to go, right? You know, you've got a low enough float on this where you can get to 24 really, really quickly. I mean, look at this midday just jets that came on this. You got to respect that. This company's a turd too, but you got to respect the volume that's coming in on all of these. They're doing 100 million plus, most of these. Some of them, like Riggedy, are 200 million. So, you know, I want to, if we get weaknesses on all these in the morning, you know, my thinking is we just play with the trend. If we start to see intraday setups, is look how clean they're acting too. I mean, every dip is getting bought, and you're getting these awesome flips back and forth. For a day trader, that's your paradise right there. You know, I think you add in this UMAC 2 on weakness. You know, this is starting to gear back up to get over there. Soundhound. Dude, you know, I was thinking this thing was probably dead on this candle here. That looked like a reversal candle, and here we are. We tapped into the 9 for a couple days, and we're off to the races and just ripping through, and you can see we've broken out really to all-time highs on this. I would add in something like QS, even though this is more of a battery company. It's got the word quantum in it, and frankly, these days when the turds fly, that may be enough. Joby, beautiful setup over here. You got a breakout setting up. A weak open on this one. Dude, we come in and shred this. Peloton also. Let me get rid of all these lines here because you got a nice spot here. I think about 1050, 1075 can send this thing. It did a nice undercut. It looked like it's going to break out here busted back below and remounted with 12 million shares in volume. This looks like a bonanza for tomorrow potentially too. IONQ, same thing. It dipped down weak, man. We had this at the open, sub 44 for a hot second, and man, it dipped down and then boom, like it acted a little bit choppy for a bit, and then bam, like the dude, the jets are turned on. And look at all this. I mean, this is the time to really stack some cash. I want you to add lemonade to the watch list here. You got a nice little breakout setting up here. Once again, this is another kind of speckier name with a low float. This kind of $2 to $5 billion market cap has really been cooking right now. ACHR is another one of these aviation plays, along with Joby, that looks really, really good. Even some of the space plays are looking good. So the themes have just been, right, space, aviation, drones, AI. These are all running together, right? This is the future of life probably. And so these things are going. The spec money is just getting nutty on these things. I want you to add a couple more names here for today. I think this BTDR, it's bucking even Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not moving, and this thing still gets ramped up. If Bitcoin bounces tomorrow, it's just sitting right on its 50-day moving average. It's just resting. If Bitcoin bounces tomorrow, this should break this 25.25 and get juicy. You've got some basing that's happening in these nuclear names. I think you got a spot right there on NNE. You got another one developing on this Oklo, and even SMAR's not looking as zesty as those, but if it remounts, it's got more room to catch up than the other two, which are still closer to its recent highs. And so you may see a little bit of a catch up on this. And then with, Bitcoin just basing out, if we look at IBIT, it's just been basing out really for the last 4 or 5 days. Any up thrust in this, I think probably gets some nice bounces on HUT, which is resting on the 50-day moving average. And MSTR, like it's just been basing here at the 50-day moving average. It needs to kind of clear out this spot, this supply right here, but it's getting pretty close, and even coins on its 50-day moving average. So I want to be, for a little Friday fun, really work with the spec, the spec names. I think Tesla had an inside day today. It peaked up for a hot second, but I would consider this a fairly narrow range day, considering the big $40 thrust it had a couple days ago on the large cap names. That's the main watch. You got a breakout setting up an AVGO. Now this is up 4 days in a row, so it needs to back and fill here. You really don't want this thing to break this high without any rest, because you get a higher chance of failure. But man, 1 or 2 inside days, let this 9 EMA catch up, I think sets up for really just another monster move on this. It's already up 30 points or 25 points off its lows, and I think it's got a little bit more juice to go. Beyond that, Google looks okay too. It's resting here. It had an inside day. The rest of them, not so much. I think TSM2 is got a breakout spot in its 9 EMA. If it gaps down tomorrow and taps into the 9 EMA, if it gaps down tomorrow and hits 200, I'm a buyer in this. I'll probably go a week or two out on the calls, maybe the 210s or 215s, and see if we can bust this thing loose. It's looking pretty good. After those 2 mega days, having a couple small rest days where it's flat or down 1% is nice. I tried to break this thing out today. I had this thing at the open. I sold partial for a couple points, and then it just kind of thumped off. That's to be expected. If you run into resistance and you're a little bit extended, that can happen. So a lot of good things happening in the markets, guys. This is a trader's dream. I would say that Reddit is also right there, right? It peeked its head for a hot second before it came back, but you got a nice spot here. Don't overthink things. Like we've got ourselves a little bull run in this market, and we just got to have a little fun with it. I love you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.